And so now we are live.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I usually just start at 8.
Okay.
So we're doing our countdown. Usually, and I think you'll notice comments at the bottom of the screen. I put them on there so you can see if people come on. So, or as people come on.
Okay.
All
Cool.
right.
Hi, everyone.
Yes. So listen, I don't know what the countdown is, but we're probably halfway down. And we shall see. It is now 8 o'clock. So it's 8 o'clock, and welcome everyone to another collaborative conversation. I am Latricia Penny of Root of the Matter, and I have my special guest with me, Imani Caldwell. And so we're just going to go ahead and get started. Anybody who's joining, these are real people, real conversations, same question, because the thought is that everyone has wisdom, everybody has a way and a perspective of things that we all can learn from or connect to. And so I started doing this about a year and a half ago just because it was a thought. And so I think it kind of attests to like whenever you have the thought, just start doing the thing. And so here we are. So, yes. Welcome, 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 Miss Imani Caldwell. Yay!
Thank you. Wonderful intro. Okay.
so we're so we're gonna just get started. And so like I said, same questions. And so if you can tell the people who are on and the people that will be joining or looking at us later, a little bit about yourself and some of the things that you do. And we're gonna just go from there.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me. Super excited to talk to you tonight. My
Yeah.
name is Imani Caldwell. I am a native Charlottean, born and raised. Went off to school in Greensboro. I went to North Carolina A&T. So Aggie pride to all of my Aggies. And then moved around a little bit, ended up in Raleigh, North Carolina, where I am a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, the Raleigh Alumni Chapter. So, hello to all of my sorors.
Okay.
And I have a bachelor's of science in mechanical engineering. So that has taken me a couple different places. Right now, I'm currently looking for a new role in the med tech space, but just using my time to help students find scholarships and different financial opportunities for school. Because that's what I do through my platform, which is kind of tied to tonight's conversation, the
Yeah.
cornucopia. So, a
Uh-huh.
little bit about that. The Cornucopia is a platform where I help students and STEM professionals find scholarships, internships, research opportunities, and anything like that. So, I've also hosted and different professional development resources. So, I've also
Okay.
hosted like resume development workshops and LinkedIn workshops, things of that sort. So, I think that covers everything. I think. Yeah.
We'll talk and we'll just see. So Xavier Black, hey, what's up? Say what up though, ladies.
Hi. Oh, I see the comments. I see the comments. Okay.
Yes, yes. So can you explain a little bit more like what inspired you to do the cornucopia? Because I know that you've been doing it for a few years now. So what was your inspiration in developing that?
Yeah, so when I was at North Carolina A&T, one thing that really stuck out to me was like awareness. So a lot of the opportunities that I was seeing other students get at different universities, it's like, well, how don't we know about this? Like, how I don't know I can do this internship. I don't know I can connect with this person if it's not in front of me. And I think that the College of Engineering did a really great job of bringing those opportunities in and nailing our emails with them. So I wanted to spread that not only to the students on my campus, but other HBCUs who may not be, STEM focused or engineering heavy. So their students there could, find those opportunities and pursue them. And then I turned it into a social media like Instagram page because obviously you
Mm-hmm.
can reach a broader audience there.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2021, I developed my first digital product, which is kind of like a career mapping digital journal where students
Oh,
can like
nice.
Document. Yeah, it's on Etsy where students can document the different like internships they've had, the things that they learned, contacts
Mhm.
that they gained, and their phone numbers. And it really just helps them to like goal set, track what they're doing, and plan for the future. So it's just like I said, grown from there where I've gone into I broadened it from just undergraduate students to like helping graduate students look for full-time opportunities, and then
Mhm.
helping high school and middle schoolers get prepared for going into a engineering or STEM major and field. So
Well,
yeah.
so question, is it more for HBCUs or is it for PWI as well? What's is
So
it?
it is for mainly students of color. So
But it,
HBCU and PWI students, but I really am focused on getting more Black and Brown students and professionals the support they
mhm.
need.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. That is great. And so remind me to get that so I can add it later, which reminds me I need to add some other things. But yeah, so I can add that later so that people can see in the comments like how your Etsy, maybe the tagline so that they can go straight to that if they want to order. And we'll make sure that we also have your link for the cornucopia. So nice. So next question. If you were a book, what would the title of the book be and why?
I thought about this one for a long time because I was like, what would it be called? Okay, so here it is. While I Have You. And
Ooh.
why? Yeah, right? Because, okay, I have a lot to say. I can be super long winded. One of my weaknesses is being long winded. I'm working on being more concise. So I feel like I'll tell these long stories, and I always try to find a lesson at the end to kind of bring it all together and just do the thing. So I feel like if I were to write an autobiography or somebody was to write a book about me, it would be
Hmm.
like, While I Have You. And then you go into my life. And it's cute and funny. So, like, that would be the
Yeah.
title.
But you're saying that you may need to be more concise, but sometimes there's a beauty in the story. So
Right.
yeah. And in the storytelling or what have you, because I think sometimes we've gotten to the place where we want everything so quick now, that it's a little beneficial to actually kind of enjoy the ride of the story and not just like go from the beginning and then we're just at the end and we don't know all of the ups and downs or the hills and valleys or the peaks. And we don't get that because we're so busy being in a hurry to get to the end.
Yeah.
So I really like that. Like while I have you, that you get to take your time and you get to just tell the story. I
Yeah.
think that's
If I
awesome.
ever, thank you. If I ever write a book, it'll be super long. So just be on the lookout for that. It'll be so long.
Nice, nice. Can you think of someone or something that over a short period of time has had a really, really big impact on you?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that one thing that's happened most recently in my life has been being unemployed. So I've
Uh-huh.
been unemployed for 4 months now.
Uh-huh.
And I think that it's been a journey. Like
Uh-huh.
the first 2 weeks, I was very sad. I was very upset, disappointed in myself. I was like sleeping, and just my life was completely turned upside down. I was stressed out. And then the back half of that month, like the next 2 weeks, I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I'm unemployed. I'm making sourdough. I'm doing yoga in the middle of the day. Like, this is gonna be fine. Everything's gonna be fine. But over the course of these 4 months, I think that I've just been like humbled to myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not that I felt like I was a prideful person before, but being unemployed has it's made me had to like lean on people in a different way that I haven't had to in my adult life thus
Mm-hmm.
far.
Mm-hmm.
And one big thing that I struggle with being like the oldest child and an
Mm-hmm.
important just kind of rock in my family is like not wanting my parents to worry about me and all that. So I had to like kind of swallow all that, sit with it, think through like this is
Mm-hmm.
just time for me to be humble, put the pride aside. It's okay to depend on your parents, your family, your circle, your community.
Right. Yeah.
um, and then also just being grateful for like life, being grateful for the things that I am getting. I know when I was going through the application process for unemployment
Mm-hmm.
benefits, I was so disappointed with the fact that I was going to be getting $350 since I was making more than that before. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, Miss Latricia, I was so mad for like 2 days. I cried over it. And then
Mm-hmm.
I remember sitting, because I was sitting in the mirror crying like a fool.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember
Mm-hmm.
thinking, like, why? You know, when you get a good look at yourself when you're crying over some nonsense, like, I was like, this is so spoiled of you. Like, some people literally don't have any money at all. And you're going to be getting $350. So, like, it's just been a very impactful period of time for, like,
Mm-hmm.
me just going through all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that you're taking the time to look at it and kind of be in it, because I think sometimes people stay in the kind of sad space too long, a little bit, or the anger space too long around certain things when they have this life transition. And I think sometimes when it's time for us to go places, if we don't leave when we're supposed to, or when we first get the inkling to go, um, then we are usually kind of strong armed about,
Yeah.
like, what else are you supposed to be doing? Or were you kind of at your best potential when you were there? Like all of these other things. It's like now, like has this time with you being able to reflect gave you more clarity about what you want to do. And I do want to give a shout out to Mr. John Agnew, Bike Dope, love him. Bayla is on as well. We have a few more people. If you want to say hi, feel free to do that as well. um, but has it allowed you to get clear about like maybe what kind of environment? Because sometimes we were like, oh, we want a job, but we don't necessarily think about, okay, what kind of people do I want to work with? What do I want the theme of the place to be? Like what, besides doing what I love, what kind of environment do I want to do what I love in? And
Yeah.
what's their philosophy and stuff? Have you found yourself kind of getting clear on like all of the things that bring you joy in what you already do?
Definitely. This has definitely been a time to reflect on what my career goals are. I feel
Uh-huh.
like in college, I was like super driven with I need to get this internship so that I can build my resume and do this in fast pace and be in a position, like a front facing position. Like I want to be the face of the
Mm-hmm.
company in
Mm-hmm.
layman terms. And then I feel like the roles that I've chosen since graduating have kind of followed that sort of philosophy.
Uh-huh.
And I've enjoyed every experience and taken something away from it. But now I'm like, do I actually want to do that? Or do I actually just want to be in maybe not the strategic head role that is, running everything, but like an engineer. I have my engineering degree and I kind of
For a
pivoted more
reason.
onto like the business corporate side of things and was like, why was I doing that? Like maybe I do want to go back to what I originally wanted to do. So I've
Mm-hmm.
definitely had the time and clarity. And then as far as work environment, for sure, I feel
Mm-hmm.
like nobody wants, because while interviewing, of course, you're like feeling out people, and nobody wants anybody to come into an interview and be like, I don't want y'all to stress me out. I don't want a job that's going to be crazy, because people want people who are coming to work. But
Yeah.
you really don't realize just how stressed out you are day to day in certain roles until
Mm-hmm.
you're like not in that role anymore. And it's like, okay,
Right.
I don't need to be doing that anymore. So,
Yes. And did that have
yeah.
to do with what I was actually, hired to do?
Yeah, and like, am I passionate about this work and this role? Because I feel like that's important too. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a lot of people are saying like you just need a job to pay the bills, but I feel like it's
Mm-hmm.
very important to be happy with what you're doing too, because you give 40
Right.
hours a week to a job. So like, I feel like
Mm-hmm.
right now, job hunting, it's the first time I've really done it since I was 21, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm not like just overexerting myself for any one role. Like I can say for my last role, I interviewed 7 times
Oh
before I
wow.
got the role.
Mm-hmm.
And not that that would be indicative of like the stress that the role gave me, but it kind of was. Like now when I'm interviewing, I'm not trying to be lazy or anything, but it's like if you want more than like 4 interviews, like maybe this is not what I need to be doing. And I've had
Uh-huh.
a wild time interviewing. with
Uh-huh.
companies over these past few months where it's just like red flags will be popping off. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to ignore these just because I'm like driven and I need, I don't know.
Yeah,
So, yes,
because
to answer your
the
question,
ideas. Yeah. Hmm.
it's been an eye opening experience for sure.
Well, just to let you know, I'm okay with the story as we talk because I think we've all had moments of being unemployed at some point or another. And
Hmm.
so that we've all had to have some time to reflect and kind of see, what you want. And, it's beautiful that you have support around you to help you, through that as well. But it's still, you still want to honor yourself too. And I think sometimes we get so focused, like you said, on hurry up and get the job to pay the bills and da 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 da, that you end up kind of back in certain cycles without honoring, like, oh wow, I see 20 red flags in less than 5 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and say no, and kind of be okay that you're choosing yourself in that way. So I think that just by sharing your experience, it could be helpful. So you don't have to worry. You don't have to kind of wrap it up real quick, or anything like that. So,
Thank you.
yeah, so feel free to talk about the journey because there are so many people who go through that and, may feel bad, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe, or, just life changes. And so you just end up, sometimes things just end up because they did some kind of big shift or whatever, and you still feel away. Everybody feels away when it's like you're someplace and then you're not. And then you're like, oh, well, I thought it may be easier if I did this, and then it doesn't fall into place as quickly all the time. But there's always, to me, valuable lessons to get in the moment. Like you've learned
Mhm.
so much, like you say, oh wow, I've been able to kind of be humble. I've been able to notice that I do have a support system. I've been able to allow myself to get support from the support system that's there already, and you do get to lean on and show up, and that's kind of cool too, to know that you have that.
Yeah, I'm definitely grateful for my community and my support system. And I've always known that it's there. I just
Yeah.
didn't fully, lean in because I was like, I don't need to. So
Yeah.
when you really need to, like, you need to. I mean, so, but
Yeah.
yeah. And like my mom has been super supportive too because when I have told her about like interviews that I've had where I'm like, this is what I heard or this is what the manager said and all that, and she's like, you don't have to take that. Like,
Hmm.
it's okay. And I'm just like, I've noticed that I really care about her opinion, so it helps to hear that come from her.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, and that's nice. So, what are some of the qualities that you find important in some of your friendships or relationships in general?
So I think with relationships in general, consistency just in
Hmm.
character is a really big trait that I look for in people because whether it's like positive or negative, knowing how somebody thinks and knowing how they're going to react or how they're going to handle a situation because they're
Hmm.
consistent in that all the time, I really appreciate that.
Hmm.
So it's like if you know somebody doesn't like being woken up early and you ask them to do something early in the morning, you already know they're going to not like that. Like I just appreciate like that consistency.
Hmm.
I feel like another big thing is just having an encouraging spirit. You don't
Okay.
have to be like a yes man or yes woman, but
Hmm.
people who speak life into your plan, speak life into you, and don't automatically come with like, combativeness every time you bring them something. I really appreciate that because I'll go to my friends and be like, I should do this. And
Hmm.
it's like, if that's the only thing I've said to you, yes, there are probably things that won't work and all that, but like, that's not the first thing. That's not how you should immediately come back
Immediately
at
respond.
me. It shouldn't be like, okay, but this isn't going to work. Like, no, it should be like, oh, that's great. Let's talk about it. Let's plan together. That sort of thing.
Hmm.
Um, I think, oh, were you going to say so?
No, I was just saying that is nice.
It's nice. It's nice because I've
Right. Yeah.
definitely dealt with people, and in full transparency, I realized that I've been that person in the
Hmm.
past, like
Hmm.
where people come to me with something, and I know people aren't necessarily doing it on purpose, where it's like you immediately think of all the things that could go wrong, so you're just letting them know. But I think turning that around to be like,
Right.
that's a great idea. Let's talk about it, as opposed to just being like, this is what's wrong with that, is a really
Mm-hmm.
big, important trait. And I think that that transfers to like, it's an important trait to me because it applies to like every situation in life. Like you're going to go through so many things and have so many ideas and plans that you don't need the people closest to you to just be ready to be negative or
Mm-hmm.
like, you know. I think with relationships, because I have been in a relationship for a very long time. I've been with my boyfriend for 7 years. He's great. And so we started dating freshman year of college, and we're still together 4 years post graduating, which is crazy. I did not plan on doing that. And I
Uh-huh.
say that every time because, like, when we first started dating, and even like a year, 2 years into it, family and people, they would be like, oh, yeah, like your first college boyfriend or like your first boyfriend or whatever. But like, we were just chilling. I feel like the trait that I'm getting to is
Mm-hmm.
somebody who doesn't, when it comes to relationships, somebody who doesn't limit you. Like, I think that my boyfriend and I did a really great job while in school of letting each other know, like, this is your plan, these are your goals, you're gonna accomplish all of them,
Nice.
even if that means, we aren't gonna be together. Like, I took a whole semester off of school to go
Mm-hmm.
work in Ohio for an internship,
Mm-hmm.
and he wasn't in my ear saying, like, oh, don't do that. What is that going to do for our relationship? Like, none of that. He studied abroad. Like, I feel like a lot, just speaking to young girls in college and young men, but don't,
Mm-hmm.
because I see it happen with girls more. Don't
Mm-hmm.
let any man prevent you from doing anything you want to do. And I just
Mm-hmm.
appreciate that quality about my boyfriend because there's
Mm-hmm.
never been anything he stopped me from doing for the sake of our relationship. And even now, we graduated and went our separate ways, like distance wise. So
Right.
we've been in a long distance for the whole 4 years that we've been out of school. And
Mm-hmm.
that's because we were both pursuing careers in different areas. So he's an engineer, he works with the environment, that's in a specific area. I wanted to work with medical devices, which is usually up in the Midwest. So I was in Michigan for a really long time.
Uh-huh.
And just knowing that he was there to support me and not pressure me. And of course, when you get into relationships, people want to come together and do the whole thing. So going through phases in the relationship is great, but not having that pressure because it's like, we're not going to be together if you
Uh-huh.
don't do this is really
Right.
nice. And the last thing I'll say would be confidence. I really
Mm-hmm.
value confidence in people
Mm-hmm.
when I'm finding new friends because I feel like I will always help somebody to build up their confidence. I want everyone to be their best self. I want them to feel empowered to be that. But it
Yes.
is really hard. And I don't think that unconfident people realize it. It's really hard to be somebody's friend when they are not a confident person because then
Mm-hmm.
it like seeps into the friendship in ways that they don't see. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that that's another important trait too.
Can you give me an example of how it may seep into the friendship that they may not see?
Well, I had friends in college that were
Mm-hmm.
very unconfident with themselves and unhappy with themselves. And I saw how they allowed themselves to be treated in relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And that I'll say seeps into your friendships because as friends, we don't want to see you going through that.
Right.
We're trying to tell you you should leave this situation, you don't deserve this, and constantly having to like rescue somebody from a situation or just talking about the same thing over and over again when you aren't changing, it can get exhausting for people. And
Mm-hmm.
also when you just don't understand why somebody allows something to happen, like it
Mm-hmm.
can get annoying is not a great word, but it can get annoying too because it's like
Yeah.
you're spending so much time telling somebody like you
Energy.
are, yeah, and
Yeah.
energy, you're telling somebody you are worthy, you don't need to be going through this, and they keep doing it, and it's just like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to put anybody's business on the street, but I just dealt with a particular situation in college that turned into a domestic situation that really
Oh
seeped
wow.
into the friend group because we at one point like went and confronted the guy and we were acting big and bad sophomores in college. Like, we're going to do this if you put your hands on her again and all that stuff. And then in those situations, you also tend to get the negative energy from your friend. Like, they'll get more upset with you for
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
opposed to the person. So it just
Mhm.
gets really messy. And I feel like that stems from a lack of confidence in yourself. So
Yeah. I went through one of those in college as well, so I understand. You know, and that person had you all as a friend group is really great, although they, unfortunately wasn't in the space to receive, feeling good about themselves or whatever their story was, but at least they knew that they had people that support and care about them,
mhm.
until they could figure it out themselves. Or if you all chose to, like, okay, we've done our part, because there's, there sometimes comes a point where you may show up, but it just ends up looking different,
Yeah.
you know, just because they may or may not be open to, you showing up the way that you like to show up.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. So, what would you tell your younger self about how to best prepare for the future? We do have a couple of comments too. Bayla had said,
Shia.
yeah, speaking nothing but facts. So,
And Bella
and
said it's dirty for sure.
lots of reflections. So, yeah. So, what would you tell your younger self about how to best prepare for the future?
I would tell my younger self
Mm-hmm.
that she knows what she's doing and what she's talking about. And it's
Okay.
okay to have your plan because I think, and I saw this in a tweet, but I really do agree that children know themselves and what they want and like their plan and their future and all that. And
Right.
then, and whether it's attainable and all that stuff is a different conversation, but like life will
Mm-hmm.
take that from you or change it,
Right.
sometimes for good and sometimes for bad. But like, if you'd asked me how many years ago now? Eight. If you'd asked me 8 years ago before I went into college, I would have told
Mm-hmm.
you, like, I want to design medical devices as a
Mm-hmm.
biomedical engineer, and this is what I'm going to be doing, and that's what I'm going to be doing. And I don't live with regrets, so I don't regret anything. But
Mm-hmm.
I do think that from listening to outside influence and making decisions that I didn't necessarily want to, but I thought, like, this is what other people would want me to do, or like what the smart thing is because like an adult said it was, it
Mm-hmm.
has kind of taken me off of that path. Well, for sure, taken me off of that path and off of that trajectory. Now, when I look up today, 8 years later, I don't want to design medical products. I want to work with them, but I don't want to design them. And it's not exactly what little girl
Mm-hmm.
me and high school senior me would have said. But I think just telling my younger self and any young people watching, like, you know you better than anybody else. You will for
Mm-hmm.
your whole life.
Right.
And the things that you want and like pursue those things and don't just let everybody else, even if they're older and wiser,
I'm
take
just
you
older.
off of that. They're just older. Exactly. Take you off of that. Take you off of that. It's okay to step off and learn new things, and everything won't go strictly according to your plan, because I
Mhm.
definitely learned that
Right.
planning everything to a T isn't how life works. But, you don't have to
Mhm.
plan everything by the inch. But if you plan everything by the foot, I think you can still hit those feet benchmarks to what you
Right.
wanted and it doesn't have to change. So, like, yeah, you know what you're talking about.
And sometimes it's having the experience too. Like you said, even though you shifted, you're still kind of in the same kind of area of it may
Right.
not be exactly what you said at, high school, but it's still like, wow, I still really do enjoy this part of this. So, and one of the things that I always say, is that, sometimes, bless us, because now I'm of a certain age, but when I was younger, that, I would kind of look and it's like, wow, just because people have age don't always mean that the information they're giving you is wisdom, especially if they've not chosen to do some of the things that you've chosen to do. So some people can only tell you as far as where their experience,
Yeah.
goes. and may not be able to see, like you said, oh, come with the kind of positive and let's work it out, as opposed to, well, this is why this won't, or what have you, because they don't see the vision. And most people don't see, your vision sometimes. And sometimes you get to share, sometimes you get to keep it to yourself. You get to decide
Yeah.
that too about, about things as well. But yeah, definitely. I've always felt like we do know, like when you start listening to all of the outside, it'll have you confused a little bit,
Yeah.
but you do know. And then I think kind of like how we were starting off, when we go so quick to, oh, these are the steps to get you to the places, as opposed to what brings you joy, and you'll get to the place that you're supposed to be.
Hmm. That's good. You said it really well. You
So
said it really well.
yeah. Excuse me. So what do you think people would be surprised to know about you?
I really struggled with this one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I have a couple things. I
Uh-huh.
have one that I'm pretty organized in my work life, in
Mm-hmm.
my home life, but my car, and the people who are closest to me know this, but my car, you would not be able to tell that I am an organized person because it looks horrible. I don't know what that means, but if there's like a deeper meaning there, but that is one thing. When people are like, you have all your ducks in a row, blah, 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 and I'm like, but my car looks terrible.
Uh-huh.
And then another thing would be that when I get bored, I treat myself like an experiment.
Oh.
So I will randomly be like, you know what? I'm going to go on a juice diet for like a week. And I'll
Mm-hmm.
go get all the vegetables and fruit and I'll make juices. And that has not worked out for me a couple times now. But
Uh-huh.
there's that. Or I'll be like, I'm cutting sugar for 10 days, just randomly. Like, I
Yeah.
like to do stuff like that. And I don't know why. I don't know what that means.
Uh-huh.
But those are two things.
Mm-hmm. So how did the cut and sugar go?
It actually went well. I feel like my skin cleared up, but it was a miserable 10 days. It was miserable because sugar isn't everything. And
It is.
I love sugar, it's
Mm-hmm.
bad. So,
Mm-hmm.
like, the first time I did it, because I've done it 2 years in a row now, this will be my third year. I'm going to
Okay.
start when summer is over.
Mm-hmm.
But there's sugar in everything. So the first time I did it, I don't know if I subconsciously wanted sugar or what, but I was like 3 days in and I had a Caesar salad with Caesar dressing and I ate the whole thing before I was like, oh, that had sugar in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I started over and like it was really nice. I think it's a discipline thing for me where I'm like, I
Yeah.
can prove to myself that I can do something for 10 days or like for a month. But I think the
Mm-hmm.
sugar thing went well. Like, I did see improvements in my skin. I was very cranky over the course of those 10 days. I wanted everything with sugar in it. And I celebrated the first time I celebrated with a cinnamon, like twist, whatever thing from Domino's. And the
Uh-huh.
second time was with a Dairy Queen like ice cream sundae.
Okay.
So this time we'll see what I end with. But yeah, you should try it if you want to.
I've been thinking about trying a few things, and I have not gone 10 days for hardly anything. Maybe
What are
journaling,
you?
definitely meditation. But as
Okay.
far as some of the more, which I probably will, maybe I'll join you when you do your 10 days without sugar.
Okay. I'll let you know when I start. I want to do an anti inflammatory diet this
Mm, I, d-
summer. Mhm.
I need that. So let me know about that as well.
I will. I'm trying to find a good like meal prep for it because when you
Yeah.
start cutting stuff, it's like you can
What do
eat
you
ground
substitute?
beef, but yeah, like
Yeah.
it's hard. But
Yeah.
people are like, "Are you doing it for the health benefits?" I'm like, "No, I just got bored, wanted to see what would happen." Like, I don't know what that means,
But
but
it is a discipline thing. And I
it
think,
is.
like for a lot of things, it's just more about the discipline of it. And making sure that you stretch in those areas. Yeah. And if you could do that, you could do other things. It's kind of one of those
Exactly.
things like, oh, once I get this done, then it just kind of lets you know, like, what would be the next thing that I could try and what can be my next success, or what have you. So nice, nice, nice. Um, what would you say inspires or motivates you?
My family for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think my parents have poured a lot into me, so I always want to make them proud. I always want to make them, like I've said earlier, not worry about me, whether that's not just like financially, but like my
Yeah,
well-being,
yeah.
my happiness. Like I try to live a good, balanced, happy life because I want
Uh-huh.
them to see that. And I want my
Mm-hmm.
sister to see that. She's like my baby, my first baby, my first little mentee. Like, I want to make her proud. I want to show her through my life, like what she can do and what's
Mm-hmm.
available to her. So, my family's my biggest motivator for
Mm-hmm.
sure.
Nice. Oh.
You
So, is there anything that you feel sometimes that people may misunderstand about you?
Yes. I was thinking about this question and my
Mm-hmm.
answer because I have an answer, but I'm trying to articulate it well. I have been told in a few different settings when first meeting people that they thought that I was inauthentic, like that word
What?
specifically, and it
Uh-huh.
hurts my feelings because people will tell me. I've been told this in an interview. I've been told
Wow.
this by like friends who are now my like lifelong friends that I met in college. But like people will be like, when I first met you and met your
Mm-hmm.
like animated, bubbly self and all that, like I thought, oh, this is like fake. This is like a show. Is she always like this? Like that sort of thing. And then they're like, oh, you are. And
Yeah.
so I'm like, I don't know if with the people that I don't see all the time, like that I do just meet once, if they
Mm-hmm.
think like, oh, I'm just some, I don't want to say jester comes to mind, but like this character, this jester,
Uh,
this like fake person that's moving about the world. Like that's what came to mind when answering the question, and I hope that I'm articulating it well. But Baylor said maybe the Libra. I don't know. I don't keep up with what the different zodiacs do and mean and all that. So I don't know. But I've gotten that where
mm-hmm.
people are like, I didn't think that you were really like this. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
really like what? What do you
Well,
mean?
I think the other piece is that people don't always run into authentically nice, funny, kind of humorous, compassionate people, and that's what you are when you first meet people. You're the same all the time. And there's not been a time that you've not been that. Even since you were younger, you've been the same the whole time. And so, but for people to see someone who's genuinely happy or genuinely compassionate and then tries to keep a smile on your face and just kind of enjoying life, and you just kind of move and you just kind of like laid back with it too. Um, you don't really run into that often. Most people are like, who's she? Mm-mm. You may see that way more often than the, hey, so how are you doing? And tell me a little bit about yourself. Because that would be kind of like you, and it would be genuine. And you're, like I said, compassionate, considerate, fun, love to smile, and just like, but that is who you are. But I don't think, unfortunately, with the way things have been, that a lot of people see people who are genuinely just like happy and just want you to do well, like, and that be the norm, like that's your norm,
Yeah. And
and
I
so
thought for a while, I was like, okay, am I? Because I do feel like God put me on this earth to make other people happy. Sometimes I
mhm,
get that feeling. So
uh-huh,
I thought, like, when I've heard that from people, I'm like, okay, is this a character? Like, is this really me? Like, it almost had me doubting myself for a while, but I'm like,
right.
no, it is. Like, I don't know how to be anything else.
Else.
All right.
Yeah, so
But
I think that's more of the, unfortunately, because we don't see that so much, that a lot of other things are put in our face more, as far as like the demeanor, especially of a black woman.
yeah.
um that you move, and just you move with ease, you smile often, you are definitely helpful, You don't give attitude, but you can correct people if needed. You know what I'm saying? Like you have a way that you do things that is like, okay, you're not going to be ran over either. You
Yeah,
you
you know.
know. But that's not what comes first. Like literally, just your smiling and like I said, the very compassionate, caring, fun, and just like to enjoy life. So and yeah, and Bayla said, yeah, you've always been that way for sure.
For sure.
So but I don't know if, like I said, because you think about it, people talk about people who are happy, like, why are you so happy?
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah. And I get it. I feel like I'm extremely blessed and
Hmm.
I understand. Like, I don't look down on anybody who
Uh-huh.
isn't outwardly bubbly. Everybody has a different personality. I happen to be an extrovert. I happen
Okay.
to be a big
Hmm.
personality outwardly person. So
Uh-huh.
if you're not, then that's okay. And like some people have also been through a lot. Not to say
Hmm.
that I haven't, but some people have been through and are battling a lot. And
Hmm.
so the way they show up in the world isn't always like
Hmm.
bubbly and smile on the face and calm and all that. And so
Yeah.
it's like you never know what
Right.
people why people act the way that they do. But I think it does hurt my feelings a little bit when I have heard when people have
Yeah.
told me like, yeah, when I first met you, I thought that you were gonna be like fake or some type like a certain type person. I'm like, okay,
Hmm.
cool.
Yeah. And I would always say sometimes when people don't know that, and I learned this from actually like a training I went to, that sometimes it speaks, and not to throw shade at whoever said it, but sometimes it speaks more to who they are as opposed to who you are,
Yeah.
or just like their stuff as opposed to you, because they don't know you to make that kind of assessment.
Mm-hmm.
So when an assessment is being made, sometimes initially it's like maybe that may have been their experience, that when they've had those things happen, that the person wasn't genuine, more so than you presented yourself to not be genuine.
Yeah.
So, these are just things, as we
Yeah.
talk.
There are things.
So what would you say that you are the most, Bayla said projection?
Bayla's holding it down in the chat.
For sure.
Oh.
So what would you say that you're the most proud or grateful for?
Okay. What I'm most proud of is obtaining my mechanical engineering degree. And I feel like that is such a cheap answer. But honestly,
It's not for
sometimes when I'm feeling like bad about myself, I'll be like, I did something really hard. And
yes.
so, like that makes me very proud about myself.
Uh-huh.
And then grateful, I'm most grateful for my family. Like
Mm-hmm.
my mom, my sister, my dad, my stepdad. I'm most grateful for my family because they really bring me joy and happiness, even when they're getting on my last nerve. I love
Uh-huh.
those people. And so I'm just glad to have them in my life. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
What are
and
you
that
most
that's good to be in that space, and also that you recognize it early, because sometimes we kind of go through life and may not always recognize like how important or how much we love or how much was poured into us in the moment. But I think as we mature, we like, oh wow, when you think about it, it's like, wow, they did this, or I'm noticing certain ways people may have sacrificed that you didn't pay attention to, or just decisions that people have made to make sure that you were okay. So, being able to be in a space of gratitude is always a win for me,
Yeah. Yeah.
period.
And hindsight is definitely 2020. I feel like I don't know if I won't say every teenage girl goes through it with her mother, but I know between
Hmm.
like 13 and 17, my
Honey,
mom and I were at war.
honey.
And I thought that I was right every time and I was justified and she was wrong and all the things. And like now being 25, almost 26, I'm like, "Oh, I see. I was
Hmm.
wrong. I didn't know any better." And so if I'm speaking to any teenagers right now, it's okay if you don't get that hindsight right now. Hindsight is 2020, you'll get it later. But
Yeah.
like, you know, like you said, understanding and feeling that gratitude now is like, I can't say that I always felt that gratitude, but I definitely feel it now. So like
Mm-hmm.
if you're not feeling it yet when it comes to your family, or you're going through something with your family,
Mm-hmm.
I think that time heals, and like you have to give room to really see where everybody is coming from and get your own life experience and just get a better understanding. Like now as a young adult, I understand a lot
Mm-hmm.
of where my mom was coming from, is coming from. I understand like my dad a lot more now with the things
Mm-hmm.
that he would say growing up that got on my nerves, like especially when it came to like protection and safety. Like y'all, I just
Mm-hmm.
got pickpocketed over the weekend in Costa Rica. So it wasn't my fault, but you
I
just
mean,
think back to like when your parents would tell you certain things and you're like, man, whatever. But like now it's like, you know what? And that was on me because I should have been more aware and like all of the things, you know? So it's like you
yeah.
understand as you grow. So just
Mm-hmm.
give yourself the opportunity in the room, but give each other grace. I tell
Mm-hmm.
everybody in my household to give each other grace constantly. And like I'm just grateful for my family
Mm-hmm.
present day.
Yeah. And I think the grace is huge, and the room to grow, because I'm sure, I know at least I've had to do a lot of shifting and changing and listening different, and still a work in progress, but definitely a lot better than it was. Um, but like we do have, I think there's this thing like we're supposed to know a whole lot too as parents. And sometimes we're like, okay, look, you was my first child too, just like I'm your mom. we I'm gonna do what I think is right, and we gonna just hope it,
We're gonna
pans out to
roll
be
with
good.
it. Yeah.
We gonna roll with it, but it's like we always try our best. It's definitely our best always,
Yeah.
but it doesn't mean that it's always the best.
Yeah.
So like just being able to be open to that as well. That I think sometimes, I definitely know that I didn't grow up around that kind of like, okay, well, I did this and that's just supposed to be it because I am a grown person, an adult, as opposed to, wow, that may not have been the absolute best, and I can own that.
Yeah.
So grace is a wonderful thing. So, and we
Yes.
all we all need like second helpings of that.
Yes. Giving everybody grace. And you have to understand as a parent too that like you're not gonna get grace from your teenager because they don't
What you say,
understand
have to?
yet. They don't understand yet. And so
uh,
it's like, and you might be wrong. You might not be deserving of grace in that moment. So they might be right
this,
in some
yeah,
instances. But in the
true.
times where you are right and they're not seeing it, they're not going to see it. They're not fully
Hmm.
developed to see it. So it's like, you have to give them grace in that instance. So,
Yeah, and I think that we're coming to a space where more people are able to acknowledge that as parents, that sometimes we get it so wrong. And being able to just acknowledge, like, damn, I fucked up that one, and so, but I could be better tomorrow,
right.
you
I
know,
could be better tomorrow. Mhm.
it may today may be a total wash, but we gonna start again in the morning, and we gonna see how it pans you
Yes.
know because I think we all do have those moments where we all get a chance to grow. And I think, to me, having a child is your best teacher, is one of your best teachers on some of everything in life, because you learn more about who you are and how you interact and deal with your children. So you get to get stretched because there's this, thing that you're responsible for, this person, this whole being that you're responsible for protecting, guiding, doing all of this stuff. And you may or may not have had great guidance. So you are like, ooh, there really is no playbook to this thing, and so you're just
Yes.
trying it out. So once again, the grace part is wonderful. And I, like I said, I think a lot of parents are kind of starting to be more okay with, that may not have been the best thing to do, and I'm sorry, because I
Yeah.
think that's an important thing too, to be able to just acknowledge and sometimes just say that you're sorry. And those two words make a huge difference.
Mhm.
What three if you do the I am, you know?
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it just cuts a whole lot of stuff.
It
Like
does.
when you say that and the acknowledgement of like, wow, that probably wasn't the best way, and I'm sorry if I caused you harm. And I'm like genuinely, because sometimes I notice with people like, oh, I'm sorry if that bothered you. No, but you
Not quite. Not quite there. You
not
know?
there at all. Not no. It was probably that it
It's
was like
quite
thanks for
there.
your action.
Sorry you feel that way. No.
The feeling came from nowhere.
Right. Right.
Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, here's all the things. So, what is a place, going on to our next question, where you've experienced joy?
Yes. So,
Mm-hmm.
comedy shows.
Mm-hmm.
I love stand-up comedy. I honestly don't know when I started watching stand-up comedy, but it was way too young for when I was supposed to be. And I enjoy going to shows. So
Mm-hmm.
like the last show that I went to was the Ali Sadiq show
Yes.
in
Yeah.
Durham.
Uh-huh.
So funny. So
Uh-huh.
I really enjoy being just in that atmosphere. Like I love laughing and being
Mm-hmm.
happy and being in a room with people who are also like laughing and
Being and
enjoying
being.
that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, yeah, for
Nice.
sure. And I like to do little comedy show reviews. So it's like a full experience for me. It brings me joy.
Nice. Yes, I love, love, love comedy as well. Stand up, anything that makes me laugh. Because life is funny, and I think some of the best comedians make you just laugh at everyday stuff.
You
Yeah.
think back to it and it's like, now my day is better because I
Right.
remembered something funny. So,
Right. It's always your
mhm.
go-to. That's one of the things that I sometimes when I'm working with people like, hey, what's something that'll make you immediately change your mind about how you're feeling? And like if you have a go-to of comedy or something funny that's happened, you can instantly change your mood just by thinking of that. So
Interesting. I'll have to try that.
yeah. Yep. Therapeutic moment. Real quick.
Yeah, therapeutic moment.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, because how can you not like laugh when you think about certain things? Like even if you're in a bad space, like you think about a comedy show or you think about certain things that people have done, and you're instant because it's hard to do both. Like you're gonna be upset or you're gonna go ahead and laugh, and if it's
You
funny
know,
enough, you
yeah.
just gonna go ahead and laugh, and then it's
Yeah.
like. And then you notice that your mood starts changing and your perspective starts changing. So, like, it's just one of those things that is like always a go to for me. So, um, so what do you do to assist with with overcoming any challenges that may present themselves?
So I like to break them up, do what I can fix about it and what I can't, and then
Mm,
immediately tackle what I can. And I usually do that by like, I'll write things out on paper so that I can and create a plan. And
mm-hmm,
then I'll like exhaust everything until I can't anymore and tire myself out.
mm-hmm,
And I think that's it. Like there are obviously some things that are just completely out of your control. And with those, it's like you talk to God, you talk to your friends, your family,
mm-hmm.
and just try to keep yourself sane and positive throughout. But when it's like things that you can't control, it's like, okay, what can I do?
Yeah.
What can I not necessarily do? And then how
Mm-hmm,
are we going to move forward? And I like to immediately like jump in to
mm-hmm,
fixing whatever it is.
mm-hmm.
Um, like I think, like I said, I give myself a little bit of time to rest in being
Mm-hmm.
sad, being disappointed, being upset, and then it's like,
Nice.
okay, we're
Mm.
really figuring this out.
Well, I'm glad that you mentioned acknowledging and allowing yourself to sit in the feelings because some people bypass that part. And then you just have a space where a whole lot of stuff is built up. So that you
Yeah.
kind of sit, acknowledge what do you control, what can't you, make a plan, and kind of keep it moving because that's pretty much life. Because it'll be several things that will come, and you do get to gauge, like, okay, what can I do about this? Oh, okay, I can do this, and that's it. And there are some times where people, when you also mention, like, kind of give it to God or pray or what have you, that sometimes you make lists like that. Okay, so if this is the stuff I can't handle, let's go ahead and give it to a higher source because I can't even think about that. and I will
Yeah.
do this, and go ahead, this all yours, you know. So you can
Yeah.
have, do what you can with that,
Yeah.
the creative
And you'll
thing.
revisit it. You'll revisit it and be like, well, God, what can I do? What can I do about this? What can I do about this? And it's like, if he
Yeah,
keeps telling you nothing, then it's nothing. But
right.
give yourself the space to breathe. Like I cry all the time. All
Mhm.
the time.
It's so
Why?
therapeutic.
Because it is therapeutic. And I, like I said, I jump into action when it's time. So like I will cry for like 5 minutes and then
Uh-huh.
it's like, okay, now it's time to work. But I know some people cannot stand that. They're like, I'm not gonna cry about something that is gonna get resolved, or I'm not gonna cry about something that I can't do anything about. Like you can cry about everything. I was just crying
Uh-huh.
the other day. The latest thing that I cried over was Obama's, because I cry about little silly stuff. I think
Mhm.
it helps me so that when I'm actually sad, there aren't a million tears inside of me. But
Yeah.
the last thing I cried about was the unveiling of Obama's library.
Uh-huh.
Like I cry all the time. I think it really helps me
Uh-huh.
good. So yeah.
I think it, I've always felt that it's therapeutic, and I think a lot of people have a hang up about tears and what it represents. And so they don't allow the space. And I was raised kind of not to so much, because you've got to be strong and blah, 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 blah. Like one has anything to do with the other, because they don't have anything to do with each other. But it's like the immediate release. And I think that once you allow yourself the release, you are definitely always more clear, even if it's 5 minutes, because you cry for joy, you cry for pain, you cry for, like, it's just allowing yourself to have, the to me, an appropriate response to whatever, you know
Exactly.
because if it comes up, it need to come out, to me,
Yeah. And
so
it'll come out later. Like, I
yeah.
think that it's been echoed. I'm only saying what has been said before, but it
Hmm.
really will come out later if you don't get it out. And especially
Yeah.
in like Black people and Black women, it will
Hmm.
develop. Sometimes your stress and sadness will develop into literal diseases in your body. So, like, you have to cry if you need to cry. Even if you don't like anybody seeing you do it, go
I
in and cry.
I haven't started this, but this is one of those things that's about that thing, the autoimmunity and the good girls. And it says how permission to put ourselves first has the power to keep us well, because they were noticing that, because people don't say how they feel, and everybody wants to be good, and this, that, and the other, that it ends up impacting your health. Exactly what
Yeah,
you were saying. So, haven't read it, just heard it was good. And I was like, okay. But I've noticed that in working with people too, is that there are certain things that a lot of women have when they experience certain stuff.
yeah,
So, just health wise, it just ends up showing up. It's like, oh, wow, when you have these certain dynamics go on, this is prone to this particular illness. Or when you do this, then that's, kind of prone to this particular illness. And it definitely shows up a lot. So I always say I'm a tear advocate. So, like, I am so happy that you mentioned crying, because, like, I always tell it, like, oh, this is a space. I'm a tear advocate. Please cry more.
cry. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. The people closest to me see me cry all the time.
Yeah. Because like you said, you get to cry, and then you get to just kind of, you allow yourself the space, and then it's like you move through it. It just allows you to move through. It's, because life has been life for a lot of people. And to me, if you allow yourself the space to acknowledge that, you move through it, to me, a lot easier and a lot smoother, because you're giving grace and space to all of the things. So, wow, yay.
Hmm.
So believe it or not, we're coming up to the close. It's almost been an hour. Like, this has been really fast. Like, this
It
has been
has been
great.
fast.
Right. So are there any things that you would like to promote? And then I always ask, like, your words of encouragement. So take it away.
Well, I would like to promote the cornucopia. My Instagram page has been a bit cold, but I am still finding opportunities helping reach out. I can send you the links to
Mm-hmm.
everything. Also looking for a role. So if anybody works in med tech, also email me. I will send over my resume, hop on a call, all the things.
Uh-huh.
And of course, promoting this. I posted it on my page, both my personal and professional pages. So I think it's really great that you're just talking to people and taking an hour to just talk to you, even though I've known you for my entire life. Talking to you and answering these questions has been really nice. And then words of encouragement. I did not write anything because nothing was coming to mind. Like I was like, I don't know what I would tell somebody, but
Go ahead.
I think like if you're going through something in life right now, it will pass and time will heal. And that sounds super cliche. And like, I feel like just in my personal life, there's a huge hill in front of me, but I'm going to get over it eventually, whenever that happens. And it's like, however long that takes. And then you'll look back in 5 years or 10 years or however long and be like, oh, yes, that was something in my life. And now it's over
It'll be a
and it's
blink.
behind me. Yeah.
It will be a blink. You will not, you will almost forget it. You know, like, oh yeah, I remember that time when, you know,
Yeah.
yeah,
And some things you won't forget, but it'll be behind you. It's like, oh wow, like I haven't been living for very long, so 5 years of my life is a long time at this point. But I'm sure like later on in life when you have you, it's like I was going through something for 5 years or 10 years
yeah,
even, but
yeah.
like it's behind me now and like it's over. So
Hmm.
I feel like that is something that I tell myself because I'm like looking to the future. That's how I'll feel when I get there.
Yeah. Yes. Well, thank you so much, Imani. This has been great, and thank you, Xavier Black, that said, "Great job, ladies."
Thank you, Xavier.
Yes, yes. So I will get your links. Is there any questions or anything that anyone has while we have Imani here? Any questions, any shout outs, anything before we close for the evening? I just want to give a second for that. And I want to say that it was great talking to you. I have known you forever and I've watched you grow into such a phenomenal um, young woman. And I'm super proud. And you are so wise and you have such introspection about life that is beyond your years, I would say. And it's lovely to just kind of see you move about and all of the great things that you are doing and will continue to do.
Thank you so much.
Yes. And Miles, Miles
Yes.
Great. Yeah, said great episode. Bayla said amazing.
Thank
So
you.
we're going to thank you all for tuning in, and I will be taking a hiatus for July. But if anyone is interested, I'm always open and willing to have a collaborative conversation. So we'll be signing off, and I'm wishing you all a restful evening and good night. See you later.
Good night, everyone. Bye. Cool.
Yes.